Through the evening, coat still folded on your arm. Someone shifts to make you room. You thank them without turning on the charm. You scan the table, choose the corner, order something plain and dry. You don't ask who's been talking. You can tell by where they look when you walk by. You leave a little space between what you mean and what you show. No one knows if that's deliberate. Maybe that's the point of it. You never give the whole thing away, just enough to change the air. A half smile held a second too long, then you're looking somewhere else. I keep trying to read the distance between polite and personal. Nothing here is accidental. Still nothing has to happen at all. Up beside the glassware, you turn it face down with your hand. Someone mentions where they're going. You listen like you haven't made a plan. The waiter clears the empty places you notice before anyone. You ask me something almost ordinary and somehow make it difficult to answer. You never lean into the moment, you let the moment come to you. And every time the room gets louder, you get easier to hear. You never give the whole thing away, just enough to change the air. A half smile held a second too long, then you're looking somewhere else. I keep trying to read the distance between polite and personal. Nothing here is accidental. Still nothing has to happen at all. There's no need to name the feeling, no advantage in being sure. Some things lose their shape completely the moment someone asks what they're for. when the room is full. Not enough to call it distance, just enough to make it visible. You remember what I don't say better than the things I do. You can tell when I am choosing which version of myself gets through. There are habits we call manners, there are limits we call taste. Sometimes elegance is only a better name for keeping space. I have learned the measure of distance, not in meters, not in time. It's the room we leave inside a sentence. It's the place we never quite define. I can feel when you come closer, even when you haven't moved. There are ways of crossing over without giving any proof. You don't ask me for confession, you don't offer one yourself. We arrange our private meanings like the books upon a shelf. Everything is in position, nothing there is quite by chance. Still the smallest change in posture can undo the whole balance. Maybe closeness has a language built from what we don't pursue. Maybe power starts much earlier than the moment someone chooses you. I have learned the measure of distance, not in meters, not in time. It's the room we leave inside a sentence. It's the place we never quite define. I can feel when you come closer, even when you haven't moved. There are ways of crossing over without giving any proof. Secure. You can know me without owning every reason, every scar. Maybe intimacy is learning where another person's borders are. I have learned the measure of distance, not in meters, not in time. It's the room we leave inside a sentence. It's the place we never quite define. I can feel when you come closer, even when you haven't moved. There are ways of crossing over, and there are ways of asking first. You say you know when I am tired by the way I hold my hands. You tell me what I must be thinking before I get the chance. You remember every pattern that confirms the shape you made. Anything Anything that doesn't fit it gets quietly explained away. You call it knowing me when nothing has to change. You call it closeness when I stay inside the frame. You know the version you prefer, the one that makes your story work. You know the words before I say them. You know the answer you expect, but recognition isn't seeing, and familiarity isn't truth. You can study every gesture and still mistake the person for the proof. You say I've always hated conflict. I think I learned to choose my time. You say I never change direction. I think you only notice mine. There are years inside a person that don't show up in routine. There are choices made in private no one else will ever see. You call it certainty because it feels complete, but certainty can be a way of not having to meet me. You know the version you prefer, the one that makes your story work. You know the words before I say them. You know the answer you expect, but recognition isn't seeing, and familiarity isn't truth. You can study every gesture and still mistake the person for the proof. Predict. Maybe love can turn to habit without anyone admitting it. I don't need you to discover some hidden truer part of me. I only need you to allow that I can still become what you don't see. The one that makes your story work. You know the words before I say them. You know the answer you expect, but recognition isn't seeing, and familiarity isn't truth. If you only love what stays familiar, then you never had to know me new. beside the kitchen sink, the coat you wore in early winter, the pause before you'd start to think. I remember all the details with a confidence that feels complete, but memory is good at keeping what makes a story easier to repeat. Maybe time is not a witness, maybe time is an editor, cutting out the awkward moments, stays where it's been. I remember how you listened, at least that's how I tell it now. Maybe there were longer silences, maybe I forgot what they were about. Photographs don't contradict us, they only prove that we were there. They cannot show what went unanswered, or why we stopped repairing what we shared. Maybe memory protects us from the shape of what was true. Maybe every recollection says as much about me as it does about you. What we remember isn't always what occurred. Some things become clearer when they blur. We keep the parts that fit the ending, lose the weight of everything between. I can miss a life we almost had, and know that almost isn't what it seemed. What we remember keeps on changing, even when the past stays where it's been. If I met the person I was then, would I recognize the way I spoke? Would I defend the choices that I made, or say I only did the best I knew? We keep revising old conclusions, not because the facts have changed, but because the person looking backward is no longer quite the same. Isn't always what occurred. Some things become kinder when they blur. We keep the parts that fit the ending, lose the weight of everything between. I can miss a life we almost had without pretending it was meant to be. What we remember keeps on changing, and maybe that includes the memory of me. You ask me what I'm thinking, I give you something true. Not everything, but enough to let you know I heard you. I used to think withholding was only fear in better clothes. Now I know there are some rooms that stay mine even when the door is open. Not every silence is a warning, not every boundary means retreat. Sometimes care is knowing where another person doesn't need to reach. There are things I keep, not because I trust you less, not because I'm leaving, not because because there's something to confess. There are things I keep because a life needs inner rules. If I give you every answer, what remains for me to choose? You know the names I answer to. You know the days I disappear. You know which questions make me laugh and which ones make me disappear. Inward, you know more than most people. That doesn't mean you know it all. Intimacy is not possession, and love is not the end of walls. I can meet you in the middle without surrendering the ground. I can let you come much closer without explaining every sound. There are things I keep, not because I trust you less, not because I'm leaving, not because there's something to confess. There are things I keep because a life needs inner rooms. If I give you every answer, what remains for me to choose? Maybe closeness is not access. Maybe trust can leave some space. Maybe love is less about entering and more about knowing what not to take. I don't need to be transparent to be honest where it counts. Some truths become less meaningful when every part is spoken out. I trust you less, not because I'm leaving, not because there's something to confess. There are things I keep and still I choose to let you near. Maybe knowing where I end is part of why you're welcome here. I know how to enter a room without asking it to change. I know when to offer an opinion and when to let it pass. I know which version of the story keeps the table moving on, which detail makes a stranger listen, which one belongs somewhere else. You could call it adaptation, you could call it self-control. Not every filtered sentence means the speaker isn't whole. This is the part I play, not the belongs today. I speak in measurements. At dinner I leave them out. With some people I am patient, with some I interrupt. You know me in one temperature, someone else knows another. None of them is an invention, none of them is all there is. Maybe authenticity is not a single voice. Maybe being honest still leaves room for choice. This is the part I play, not the whole of who I am. Some things need a different language, some things need a different room. I don't know each passing moment, every layer I contain. There is nothing false in choosing which part of me belongs today. Consistency meant never shifting shape, as if every room required the same volume, the same weight. Now I think a person changes without becoming counterfeit. Context doesn't make us lesser, it reveals what each place permits. Because the rest is untrue. I don't know each passing moment, every layer I contain. Maybe knowing who you are includes deciding what to name. You replace the coffee when it's empty. I leave the hallway light for you. You remember which appointment matters. I remember when you need the room. None of this would make a photograph. None of it would sound like proof. Most of what we built between us would be easy to overlook. We used to measure love by how strongly something moved us. Now I think it may be closer to what remains when nothing does. Maybe this is what holds, not the promise but the practice. Not the certainty of feeling, but returning to the facts. You were tired so I carried what I could without being asked. Maybe this is what holds the ordinary work of staying intact. have learned which words are useless when the other one is wrong. How to leave an argument unfinished and return when heat is gone. You don't always understand me, I don't always make it clear. Some days care is less impressive than simply remaining here. There are things we never solved, we just learned how to carry. Not every lasting structure needs every edge repaired. Maybe this is what holds, not the promise but the practice. Not the certainty of feeling, but returning to the facts. You were tired, so I carried what I could without being asked. Maybe this is what holds, the ordinary work of staying intact. If we counted only passion, we would miss most of the years. There were mornings made of errands, there were months we lived with fear. There were choices without witnesses, there were changes made too small to name. Maybe love becomes more visible when no one needs to call it by its name. Maybe this is what holds, not the promise but the practice. Not the story we tell others, but the details we come back to. You were tired, so I carried. Then I learned to let you carry me. Maybe this is what holds, not staying still, but staying honestly. We used to finish every argument as if completion made it true. We would stay until the language had been forced into a view. Every question needed meaning, every silence needed cause. We mistook explanation for the thing that held us close. Some things only grow distorted when we press them into shape. Not every difference is damage, not every doubt requires a name. There is nothing to resolve, nothing waiting to be solved. We can leave a thing unfinished and still know what it was. I don't need the final answer, you don't need to make me choose. Some things become more honest when there's nothing left to prove. Disagree beside you without turning it to distance. You can want what I don't want without asking my permission. We were taught that understanding means arriving at one stay separate from you. There are truths that live beside us without needing to combine. Two people can remain connected without becoming of one mind. There is nothing to resolve, nothing waiting to be solved. We can leave a thing unfinished and still know what it was. I don't need the final answer. You don't need to make me choose. Some things become more honest when there's nothing left to prove. Is not agreement, maybe trust is not complete, maybe love survives the places where two answers never meet. I can let your thoughts stay yours without making it a threat. There are things we never settled, and I don't regret them yet. There is nothing to resolve, nothing waiting to be solved. We can't leave a thing unfinished without losing what it was. I don't need the final answer. You don't need to make me choose. Some things become more honest when we stop demanding proof. I kept the dates more carefully than anything they proved. The restaurant, the borrowed car, the week you changed your route. I thought that if I held the details, nothing could be rearranged. As if accuracy could keep me from becoming what had changed. I was building an archive, not because I needed truth. I needed something I could point to whenever I became unsure. You are no longer evidence of what I should believe. I don't need what happened then to explain the way I live. I can keep the facts intact without carrying their weight. You are no longer evidence, and I am more than what you changed. For years I used the same conclusion in rooms you never knew. The hesitation at a doorway could still somehow belong to you. I called it being careful. Sometimes it was only habit. A lesson can become a prison long after it has lost its use. Memory can be accurate and still be badly placed. Not every past conclusion needs to govern present space. You are no longer evidence of what I should believe. I don't need what happened and to explain the way I live. I can keep the facts intact without carrying their weight. You are no longer evidence, and I am more than what you changed. is too simple for what I mean to do. I don't need to call it mercy. I don't need to pardon you. I only want the past to end where the past is meant to end, not inside every person who had nothing to do with them. Explain the way I live. I can keep the facts intact and still put down their weight. You are no longer evidence, and I am free to change the frame.